What's up, world, and welcome to our show, Cuzzo Convo. We're your hosts, Renaissance Ronnie
and Mo Lovely. We're here to have an open dialogue about all things Black reality TV, highlighting positivity and giving out real life accountability checks.
So grab your seat and whatever you need, because we're about to dig in.
What's going on, cuzzos? It is your girl, Mo Lovely, and
Renaissance Ronnie.
Welcome back. We know that we have not been with you guys for 2 weeks. Forgive us. Life happens. Life is going on, and there's just life happens. So shout out to all the YouTube content creators that's out there pumping out that content consistently and just staying on it. One day we'll be y'all. Anyway, until that day comes, we just gonna be just going with the flow. So we are back with another recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Talking about the past 2 weekends show. So last week's show and then also this past weekend show. So let's jump in. I feel like nothing really major happened with last week's episode. We had the sit down with 2 people. So sit down with it was more like a stand-up because they ain't really sit down with Wanda. They was just like, yeah, we just want to talk to you at the child's birthday party. And child, she was upset that they sung a happy birthday without her. And Tisha was like, yeah, we did.
You were late, Miss Wanda.
It's
not your birthday.
I was surprised that Tisha admitted and said, yeah, we did. Anyway, but the kids seem like they love their grandmother. So
yeah.
So wait, that's a plus. That's the one positive thing I guess Wanda has going on in her life, that she's a nana that is beloved by her grandchildren. Moving forward, so that conversation, Wanda listened for the sake of the scene. Wanda ain't changing. Period. What's your thoughts?
Well, I feel like she didn't give me the impression that she was going to change. She just was kind of like Tisha at the table, just making up excuses on the reason why she did it, which, okay, you did it. You did it for whatever reason you said you did it, but they're asking you to, in the future, just refrain from talking about those people. So an explanation of why you did it is not needed. Like, right. Just, we're moving forward. And she definitely didn't give me the impression that she is going to move forward positively. I mean, granted, I'm not sure. I don't think I've heard anything from Miss Wanda lately that has been messy. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't been really looking into it. Right. But she seems to have maybe calmed down a little. We shall see. I mean, from what I see, they did film the reunion, and she will be on it. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like once that airs, she'll be back to, saying her being messy.
Pretty much. Yeah, I couldn't wait for this day.
Right.
So I agree. And then we have Mark and so the Scott brothers, whatever, Mark, Maurice, and Marceau. Again, I think it's another Miss Wanda. He is definitely upset that Van did not claim him. And at the end of the day, it's just like I said, Van just maybe wanted to throw her little holy legs up and get her son. And wanted to stay quiet as a church mouse and about it. And he over here throwing her business under the bus. And she like, now all the congregation and the board members are going to be looking at me being like, Sister Vanessa, so I've watched your show because I love your daughter Melody. But so what's this man talking about that you was hiding and and she probably was like, That's exactly why I travel 5 to 6 hours away so that nobody in the
could see them together.
Like I'm like it's definitely all coming together, like why you did what you did. But and then also him being off the chain. Like I said, I'm not gonna, I can't definitely say that there was not a relationship, but I definitely felt like they had two different understandings of what they did have. Where, I guess he fell in love with the cougar because I don't think they that close in age either.
It's given very much entanglement. Like he thought it was one thing, i.e., August Alsina, and she she knew that it was something else, i.e., Jada Pinkett. So, like,
Yeah,
and much like August Alsina, his feelings got hurt and he blasted it.
pretty much. Yeah,
So it's like a you know, low budget entanglement,
yeah.
I guess.
I
A
know.
holy entanglement or whatever.
Yes, but Mark definitely still has. He's still out there. He's got
He
something
definitely
going
has
on.
some mental issues going
Yeah,
on.
there's something happening there that's just not all like clicking, which is why I think that they just refrain from even talking to him. They go like, "Oh my God, that's it's like talking to a brick wall." He's going to say what he's going to say, and he's going to just yeah.
As
There's
much as
there's it's so funny because I'm sitting here thinking to myself like Maurice must have took some form of like not etiquette classes, but like he must have like I don't know, he must have said, "Let me look at how my brothers are and let me just totally be opposite and how do I like." He must have got some like help early on like after college or something cuz both Mark and Marceau are on that like you got Marceau that's just, the sarcastic little jerk that you like really? Like, you just have to and then you got Mark that's just extreme with his, like, "Imma say what I gotta say," and da 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 da, so
right. So it's
yeah.
like two ends of the spectrum. So it's like Maurice, the like angel almost, and then
Yeah,
you get to Marceau, and then you get to Mark.
right, exactly,
And
and it's just yeah.
I don't know where the other Scott brothers fall into line because I think it may be like five of them, right?
Because I'm about to say, I know the one that they had on earlier this season with his wife, he
Mhm.
seems to be more, like, reserved, like, he seems to be on the more Maurice, uh,
Right. Because
side
I
of
remember
things.
he was helping them hold Marceau accountable for what Marceau posted
Mhm,
on
mhm.
Instagram.
Online. Mhm. Yeah. So yeah, so that's that. Now, the other thing is I forgot Kiki and Mel.
Oh yeah, I don't know how I feel about that situation.
So this is what I will say. Um I don't I I can understand why Kiki was upset cuz like what was the point of telling what was the point of telling them? I don't really understand the point of telling them unless she literally unless they experienced her going into random people's homes taking like trying to find pharmaceutical drugs or this particular drug that she was addicted to. I don't understand why they shared it. I don't. Like like that I was because remember we were trying to guess this whole time. I'm thinking like, oh, maybe she was a part of some fraud, and said
Right.
like, listen, before we just letting just off you might want to put your credit cards away. We might want whatever because you inviting her to your home might open up a door for y'all to get robbed. Like, so of course I can understand that. But if we're
Right.
talking about a pharmaceutical drug that she was addicted to, and again, unless she was caught stealing other things, but that's not what we got. So I know that Kiki will be at the reunion.
Mhm.
So I guess maybe there will be some form of like outing of, well, it wasn't just that you was addicted to drugs or this pharmaceutical drug, you were addicted and we found you stealing other things. So if it's that, yeah, but I just if it literally was just them telling, "Hey, we just want to let you know that she's a," or if it was a particular behavior
Mhm.
that like if she was erratic or she snapped or she just will, if you, watch what you say, because she, she is addicted to these painkillers. And we just find that like she just sharpens, snaps at everybody if you are opposed of her. So that's my only it if they told them. But then Mel goes, yeah, because even when they told us, they definitely was like doing a ha jokey joke about it, like, you gotta be careful because they were like, okay, whatever. So yeah, I don't again, unless it was on those terms, I don't really agree that the Holtz needed to know that she had an addiction, unless literally it was coming into my home and there was going to be something that was going to be done to me and mine and my kids or whatever. That's just.
I think so. I'm on the fence about it because I think that it probably, in the greater scheme of it all, didn't need to be shared with the Holtz.
Hmm.
But I also know how sometimes you have a friend group, like you have a friend group, you're close with your friends, and you say shady stuff that you don't necessarily expect that it would get out.
Hmm.
And so then it was kind of weaponized against them later on. So I took it like she was coming to the house. She had an addiction to prescription drugs, and she had been stealing the prescription drugs from people's houses or purses or whatever she was saying. And that it was kind of like, oh, Kiki's coming, hide, lock up your medicine cabinets type of thing, which
Hmm.
is not funny.
Right.
But like I said, I mean, people have shady moments where they say messy stuff with their friends that they don't necessarily think it all the way through or expect that it would get out.
Right. And I definitely could see Marceau doing that.
Yeah,
Which again is not, that's not funny. That
right.
I mean, any form of addiction, I don't care what it is, like, you just don't, play with that. Like,
And I think
especially if that was her cousin, and like she said, we were more like sisters. And
it was right,
like I would have hoped that Tisha would have been like, all right, that's not a joke. Seriously, we're just telling you guys this because, whatever.
right. And I
But
think in the
those.
moment, it probably was like, oh, really? Was that's what's going on? She's stealing people drugs? Like, it was like, okay, yeah, like, all right. And then they had this full circle moment with, not full circle, but they had a moment where now Melody and the Scotts aren't on the best terms. And she says she's building a relationship with Keke. And um and it's like, oh, but girl, yeah, your cousins did say some shady stuff about you in the past, or her man, or whoever. And I just
So
don't know
apparently,
how I feel about that.
from because, like, I try to like stay, we might not report like everything, but
Hmm.
like as far as outside of the show. So from the internet streets, I got some information. Apparently, actually, Kiki and
Knew each
Melody have.
other first.
Yes, and they've known each other for a while, like even to the point of, they were saying, I guess, when Mel was in college, that Kiki was her professor, or
What?
like, yeah, she probably was like assistant professor, because, like, how like some grad students or
Yeah,
whatever come in. Yeah. So she said that they had already had, that's where they first met and first started to even connect. So, so
so I
that's.
think that's what kind of like feeds into it even more for me, because she knew Kiki beforehand, so it wasn't like a thing of them bringing Kiki to their house, to her house, and she not knowing Kiki or whatever. It's like, okay, this is somebody that you do know, but at the same time, do you know that she's stealing prescription drugs from other people's?
Mhm.
So, and I think, like I said, at the time, the Holtz and the Scotts were close. and probably closer than uh, the the Holtz and Keke were to each other. And it was just a shady moment that wasn't really funny and was personal for Keke. And but at the same time, I don't think, and I'm not saying that you do or you don't say things because you think it may come back to haunt you, but it just kind of came back around, and that's why I'm on the fence because I really don't like that Melody told. I mean, because like seriously, what was her goal in telling her that? What was Melody's goal in telling Keke that they kind of made a joke about her addiction? Like, was it to tear the cousins apart, or and then too the whole thing about they already settled it supposedly, Keke and Letitia, and then for it to come back now, and Keke being more present with Mel, and I
Mhm.
just don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, like I said, Kiki gonna be at the reunion, so we'll see. Um,
It's
but
like, how long did you hold on? How long did either one of them, Keke or Melody, hold on to this information? Because obviously it happened years ago before you brought it to the forefront and it became an issue. Like, first of all, how long ago did Melody hold on to that information that she knew that Tisha was being shady to Keke? So like, when did Melody tell her? And then why did either Keke wait so long to
mhm.
confront Tisha about it? Like, and if y'all resolved it, why are you bringing it back now? Like,
Mhm.
I don't, it screams, messy hookup.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
just like Destiny and Letitia, like, it's a messy hookup because they're both, team not Melody.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I will have to say that I saw that digital exclusive that OWN put out there,
yeah.
like I I I I mean, I'll say this, they're probably messy more behind the scenes than more in front, but I definitely feel like Tisha, and I'm not even team Tisha at all, but I feel like Letitia is
Tisha.
no, but I feel like she definitely is more like she doesn't really entertain it like that besides that digital one when yeah we that whole thing. Let
Mhm.
me tell you,
It's messy.
y'all the editing, okay, on
That
all
they
y'all.
scream Carlos King.
Cause I'm just sitting here like, hold on, this was not in this. Like I literally looked at, I was like, this wasn't it. She told me some, cause I was gonna be ready for whatever, you up. And I'm like, wait, Tisha, what's happening? Like, what you
Tisha
mean?
was threatening to throw down.
Yeah, I
Like,
was like, where did this energy come from? And truth be told, baby, with the way that Destiny looked at you and stared you down, she was like, "Girl, no, you wasn't." But I'll entertain the conversation. Like that was probably the most truthfulest thing that Destiny's done on that show was to look at her like she was crazy and stay silent.
mm.
Because I be like, Tisha, no, Tisha, like no. First of all, I'ma just say this. Even if it came to like blows, I'll just say this. Stormy wasn't going to allow that to happen, even though she always says, I don't, I think that Mel can hold her own. Like, so when y'all ask me why don't I jump in more or whatever as her friend or whatever, Stormy wouldn't have allowed Tisha to put her hands on her. Kimmi wouldn't have allowed it because Kimmi obviously has relationship with both Letitia and whatever. There would have not. There just would have been to me. I feel like more of, oh no, we not about to let this happen. Than you know. So
So she's saying if Melody would have hit her mom, she would have jumped in it, is what she's saying.
yeah, she did say that, but she was saying that she didn't understand why the energy that she had for her mom, why she didn't have it at the Galentines,
Got you. Yeah.
uh and saying like, I was right here, I was throwing all the ammo at you and you wasn't standing up doing all what you did. And I
Right.
was like, and she was like, you just left and exit the building. And I'm
Right.
like,
Okay. Got you. Yeah. She was basically saying you can get buck with an old lady, but
right. And I'm like,
that
but
would
she,
mean
but the thing is just like, when we Tony and I was looking, we was like, but Tisha, like, you realize that like Melanie was never planning on putting her hands on your mother. Your mother is the one that started with the finger pointing, and then she was like, okay, well, if you're gonna finger point, I can finger point too. Then they finally separated them, and then your mother came and interfered and tried to do a sneak up and try to get her. So my thing is, like, I don't understand why this conversation is even being had when that wasn't, you're right, that wasn't the energy. Like, she
I
was
don't. That
she
wasn't even an energy for Mel anyway, because it wasn't the issue that her and Tisha were discussing or having their issues with at the Galentine's thing. Obviously, wasn't as important to Mel as her saying that Miss Wanda talked about her children. So she wouldn't even bought that saying she if if her issue with Miss Wanda was different, not about her children, she probably wouldn't have even addressed it all like that with Miss Wanda, because Miss Wanda says things all the time
right,
and it never goes that far. It was the energy came from her saying it was about her children.
right.
So of course she wasn't gonna get buck with you at the Galentines because she didn't feel a need to get buck. It wasn't of importance to her. You didn't say anything about her children. Now, suppose you had said something about her children, and then y'all was at the Galentines, and you was, you know, buffing up like you claim you were. I don't even remember you being all like that either. But then maybe it would have been something. Maybe it would have came to like blows. But Tisha, I just think when you team up with somebody, like you form a friendship with somebody based on your dislike for somebody else, it's not genuine. It's just fake.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Like,
So, I mean, y'all ain't gonna never really be like good friends to each other, you and Destiny, because y'all came together on the wrong terms. Like,
mm,
and
yeah,
uh,
like, yeah. When I see, I'll say this, when I look at even all of her interactions with all, like, with whether it's Tisha, Kimmi, whatever, she just be like, okay, I'm here shooting this scene. Like, these are not my real. That's not my squad in real life. You
and
know.
I even get that. I even get a more genuine connection with Destiny between Destiny and Kimmy. Like, I
Mhm.
think she, looks up to Kimmy and she respects Kimmy. But her and Tisha, I just don't see them besides shooting a scene hanging out.
Yeah. Well, apparently they do. Apparently they go to remember what's Ghetto Gala? Why is her name slipping my name? What's Miss Ghetto Gala's name? From
Tiffany?
who?
I
Who?
said Tiffany? Who's Ghetto Gala?
No. Gosh, what's her name from Love and Marriage DC, child? She said, what in the Ghetto Gala? Why am I forgetting my
Oh,
Winter?
Winter.
She said her, Winter, and Tisha. She's like, those are my girls. We went to New York together and all this stuff. So apparently they do be, they got their little squad. And they she was like, I love them. I said, okay. So apparently they
Winter, Destiny, and
Tisha.
Tisha.
Hmm.
Apparently, so I'm learning that Destiny must spend a lot of time in this area, meaning the DC area, because I saw her recently um, giving a lap dance to Sherelle the trainer, who is local to the DC area. I think
I know who
her,
Sherelle the Trainer is.
right. So I guess Destiny spends a lot of time in this area, or has a lot of friends in this area.
Mm.
If she hangs with Winter and Sherelle the trainer.
Child. Anyway, so yeah, y'all, that's the recap and our thoughts on last week's episode. So let's get into this week's past episode. So, um, yeah.
You shed
I,
any tears?
Huh?
Did you shed any tears watching this episode?
No, I didn't shed any tears.
I was a little teary-eyed.
I
Oh,
mean, I feel, I feel, definitely feel a certain way, that this is definitely happening, um, to Kimmy for sure, but I think that I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it can happen to any one of us at any point in time. I will say that probably more than sadness, I probably had a little bit more aggravation. And I only say that because this is why I disagree with the whole like I need my wife to be having sex with me every single day, multiple times a day. Like I don't know, like in that why in that scene I was thinking about that. And as much as yes, we saw that Maurice was vulnerable and he was, shedding tears with her and stuff like that. I just it was a trigger for me a little bit because I the thing is, and this is not to get into my background is, holistic care and stuff like that. And the thing is that cancer a lot of the times is deep rooted like trauma. So it can be trauma and then it can be even just the woes of life that's happening. And all what the body does is the body never forgets trauma. And so a lot of these cancers on top of living in a toxic world and things that from things that we're breathing in, she also works in the medical field. Like there's a lot um that happens there. And so when we don't have the outlet um to either let those traumas go, heal from those traumas, and then we add on top of, then it becomes um it becomes cancerous, and we unfortunately we carry these things, and it does develop into dis-ease. So I get my perspective, and again I do feel my heart goes out to Kimmy, and definitely sending her like healing vibes and prayers. But I think about the back end of things, and I'm like,
so are you
how.
suggesting that Maurice's, uh, I don't know, I guess constant demands of Kimmy, uh, developed, for lack of better words, into cancer for her?
So I won't. I would never blame all of that on him. What I'm saying is that there is when there is trauma, and I'm going to tell you what triggered me to think that there is possible like other things as far as like trauma that has been carried with her,
Mm.
is that when they were at the girls' time together, and she was like, and Stormy got up and was like, "Oh, Kimmy, da da da," and Mel said she doesn't like hugs. She doesn't
Mm.
like hugging. That right there for me tells me that there is, and again, the revealing of always being the strong one, always be there. And she grew up in Baltimore, right? She's from Baltimore. Like a lot, if you like know people from like it is that ain't no fun place to grow up. So I'm pretty sure there's some trauma. And what I'm saying is not all Maurice
Mm.
coming whatever, whether this is trauma from the age of 2 and now she's 42 or however old, 46, 47. Like when we don't deal with these traumas, the body takes count of trauma, and when we're not dealing with them accordingly, then the body is like, okay, well, you have this, and now this trauma that you dealt with at the age of 5 is now um triggering this very moment where you're feeling unappreciated, where you're feeling like you're being used, where you're feeling like whatever. And now that's, and so again, all the body is doing is just collecting. It's collecting, and then it's you're re traumatizing. It's all these things. And so a lot of times and you would have to, that's why I said I don't want to get all into it, but you would have to, like, kind of read some books about it. But a lot of times, especially with us with women and our hormones, we develop these, sometimes it's not necessarily through cancerous like cysts and tumors. Sometimes they're not cancerous, but like, we have in our community, there's women that deal with a lot of fibroid issues because of what, the womb houses, like it houses life, but at the same time it houses trauma. So if you were a rape victim, if you were molested, if you were whatever, like a lot of people don't think about those things. They just like, okay, whatever the doctor says this fibroid came from, which the doctor doesn't normally say that. They just go, oh, you have fibroids, oh, you have cysts, this, oh, you have PCOS, oh, you have cancer, you have breast cancer, and not understanding, like they're not having those conversations like holistically. They're
Mhm.
just saying, okay, this is what you have. But I'm telling you, would never go into a doctor and say, well, can you tell me the reasons why I may have this? And then it also goes into the things that we're putting into our body, the things that we're consuming, whether it's if we're having an overload of processed sugar, alcohols, breads, all these things. So what I'm just saying is that there's a whole line of things. So for me, it was a little bit more triggering for me because I
Mm.
did think about that aspect of her and Maurice, and but then all of the other things that Kimmi did bring into their relationship that possibly has not been healed. And that's why, and again, if you are the person that's always got to be strong, and then Maurice saying, but then your friends, and I understand what she's saying of not wanting or desiring to like have, because she's like, I don't want to have to explain myself, and I don't want to have to, but anybody that doesn't enjoy that type of intimacy that's outside of sex, and it's literally like, hey, I'm just trying to be intimate with you to say, hey, you have a shoulder to lean on, hey, you have a voice that's here to be positive and to whatever. It's just letting me know more and more that there's more to Kimmi. And even she even said that she didn't even, she was like, I was just going to just bow out to filming.
Mhm.
So there's a lot that she is this going on the inside prior to her getting this diagnosis. And so what I would want for her is, I hope that as she is healing through this process, that there's work that she does to say, there's things I got to let go. There's things that's happened to me, and it ain't going to make it better, because unfortunately what ends up happening is, and has currently happened even to um uh my own husband's grandmother. All it does is just keeps coming back. It keeps coming back. Like when people have like like, it's like, dang, why does cancer keep coming back? Well, again, where you're not changing your lifestyle, when you're not dealing with the trauma, when you're not where what the body is, you're in your mid 40s, you're 50, you're 60, you're 70, and something is reoccurring. Again, that's why the doctors don't make money off of healing. They don't. They make money off of, well, come back in, and okay, now, all right, oh well, fortunately the cancers come back 4 times now, and we gotta just get rid of this breast. That's what my what you call, and it's just like, and meanwhile we're trying to work with her and say, okay, so we see your kitchen, let's change some things. You gotta let the sugar go, because that is feeding that. So that's a part, again, but that's a part of it. That's not the whole thing. Now, what are some other things? My Tony's grandmother grew up where she was in a household, I think it was 14 of them, 14 kids. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot. She has a control, it's a whole lot there. And it's like, okay, well, are you dealing with that? Have you dealt with that? Have you processed that? No, I just got to keep it on. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, so it didn't necessarily bring tears to my eyes. It triggered me in a way that I'm like, in our community as a whole, as the Black community, we have to get better. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to heal. I don't care if you're in the medical industry or not in the medical industry. Like, when you are the person, when you feel like you are the strongest in your circle, and you are the go-to, and you are a person that carries probably the burden of everybody, and you're the one that's the wise one and always the wise one in your groups, and like, you don't realize this, but again, you're, even if it isn't necessarily personal to you, you are carrying these things, and where's your outlet to go? Oh, I need to release this. I gotta release this, because if I'm carrying, what's going on with, because we this is the thing too. We don't know a lot about Kimmi necessarily. We don't know what happened with Jalen's dad. We don't know, so we don't know if that's a part. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot. There's a lot of layers, and I would love, 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 love to get that part of Kimmi, but we don't have that. And I don't think we necessarily have that with anybody on the show as of yet. Like, this is probably the deepest that we've gone as far as personal, especially with Kimmi, where again, she's always been that strong, encouraging, positive force in the show. And like, there ain't never been no, no issues, no problems. But now it's like, okay, there's some things that's being revealed. Oh, she doesn't like to be hugged. Okay. And again, I was like that for a good long time. And then I became the hugger. And but now then I had to say, oh, I gotta watch that, because you have to remember, you wasn't a hugger, so you can't project that just because you healed some parts of you and what you went through when you wasn't a hugger. You can't now project that on everybody, because everybody's not going to be a hugger. So you have to respectfully say, hey, it's great to meet you. Are you a hugger? No, I'm not a hugger. Respect. Boom. You remember Jess? Well, her name is Jess, but everybody was calling her Braxton. Apparently, she was having people call her Braxton at my wedding.
Mm-hmm.
But Jess is like that. When Jess and I met, she was like, "I'm not a hugger. I'm just letting you know off the, whatever." But now, if I see, like, Jess will give me a hug, right? So it's just, and again, like, learning like this, her story, all those sorts of, okay, great, I get it, I understand it, whatever. Boom. So yeah, so that's just it. But like I said, I do desire that, again, with this diagnosis, that there is going to be a form of accountability, and again, a wake-up call for all of us, not just Kimmi, but for all of us as a community, that we have to get better at taking care of ourselves, and that's mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of it. It all works together. It's holistic. We can't separate it. We can't say, oh, I'm here to serve, and I'm going to, do this for people, and I'm going to be this, and I'm going to be that to people and everybody. And then don't think that our body won't shut down like a car. If you don't give the car the daily maintenance that it needs, or the maintenance that it needs, your stuff gonna start breaking down. You're gonna be like, shoot, dang, this car's broke. And we have to look at it like that. We're not gonna put what happens when we put sugar in our car tank. Child, that thing is done and over with. So it's like, okay, if my car, my luxury car, or my busted up lemon car requires maintenance and requires certain things, there's no way that I can just give it anything. So that, I digress, y'all. That's my passion. I love health and wellness, and I love helping and serving people to get to live their best lives. Like, again, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. Like, that is me. That's my call. I love it all. And again, I wish nothing but the best for Kimmi. I wish nothing but healing, 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 speaking healing over her life. And that, again, it just, that manifestation of healing that comes, that is not just on the medical side of things, but that it really does manifest in other areas of her life, so that she can be completely whole and healed. Robbie's like, okay, I didn't know you was gonna go all like that deep.
So fast forward, or yeah, fast forward, rewind, or whatever. I never can get it right. To Stormy's get together. You want to go
Yeah,
there?
go ahead.
So, how do I feel about? So, I think Stormy had great intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was a very nice setup. First of all, I
And the
noticed
state is beautiful.
the number one thing I noticed about Stormy's scenes at
Mm-hmm.
her home, it gives very much, I don't want those people in my house.
Really?
Have we filmed the scene in Stormy's house?
You know, Just
Not
just
with
just Mel in her sound shop
right.
room or whatever like that.
When
Mhm.
all the ladies come over collectively, they always on her little back deck. They
Mhm.
sitting outside, even when it was raining, honey. They was sitting right on. She said, "Well, let's come on, let's get up under here." And she said, "Come on, let's come on in the inside."
That's funny.
She had that thing set up right, real nice and peacefully outside by the pool. She was like, I ain't bringing that energy into my house, honey."
Respectful.
So, yeah. So, I think she had great intentions. I think that um, everyone, it required, for it to work, it required everybody to have a certain emotional maturity that everybody didn't have.
Mhm.
Um, uh, Destiny being number one. Uh, I would actually say Mel being number two. Mel and Tisha may have been tied.
Mhm.
I didn't like that Destiny brought someone with her uninvited, or
Child,
um,
just disrespectful.
uninvited, not making the persons whose home you're going to aware of
Who does that?
situation or asking if it was okay. Although I did read that Destiny said, so I think what she said was, so you think that there was just an extra setup at the table just by coincidence. Like, I guess implying that they did know she was coming. I don't know. Stormy said several times at the table, I didn't know she was coming, and you never once said, oh, you knew. So
Right.
that was your opportunity, Destiny. If that's true, as you say, that it wasn't just a coincidence that there was an extra spot at the table, that she in fact knew that she was coming, when she kept saying over and over again that the guest was uninvited. Neither you or the guest said, oh, you knew, or I talked to you, or I called you, said it was okay. No one ever said anything.
Right.
And I did not like that. I did not like Destiny's energy, but I didn't like Tiffany's energy either.
Tiffany just trying to find her. She's still trying to fight
She's
for her
still
place.
on that little shade. I thought Tiffany had got off that little shady path that she was on. She hopped right back on that shady. She said, "Is
Said,
this
"Is this
Detroit?"
Detroit?" I
I
said,
said,
Tiffany. It's like,
Tiffany. Because Tiffany, you understood what that lady was saying when she was like, why did you bring that energy to her birthday party? Saying, basically suggesting that her husband was with another woman. Then come to find out it was Melanika.
yeah, I don't know how they get them two mixed up, but okay.
Yeah. Tiffany, that gives very much white people, a white person that thinks all black people look
Look
alike.
alike,
Like,
yes. She was like,
what was that about?
he was like, you know Mel Nika. She was like, who? I don't know.
I mean, what was that about? You saw Melanika one day and then you saw Destiny the next day, and you were like, didn't I meet you the other day? Like, they look nothing alike.
Nothing.
They ain't even got the same, I would say, two, thick black women, but they not even the same shape or nothing. Like, Melanika got a big booty. Like, Melanika is giving breasts, legs, and hips, and body, yada, yada. And,
Legs and
and Destiny is giving, Destiny has one of those, you know what? I ain't even gonna go down that road. They ain't shaped the same. Okay?
no.
They face ain't the same. I think Destiny looked like she probably taller than Melanika. They, Tiffany. So that was that. You mixed them up. Then you came to the girl birthday party and brought it up again. You don't see why she was uncomfortable with that situation? So that's when she was just, she didn't overreact in the moment, just like Kimmi didn't overreact. Well, Kimmi, I guess Kimmi took it easier than Destiny did when she brought up Monster.
She was like, who? What you talking about? I don't know what you just. She was confused, child. She said, well, wasn't even privy to the situation because Maurice didn't even tell me about him vaping in no bathroom. So she's like, this is new to me.
Right.
Yeah.
But so it was that, and then um Tisha Tisha and her shorts. You think Tisha was underdressed?
Girl, I didn't even pay attention. To be honest with you, I didn't pay
I
attention.
mean, they were outside. I guess she said that Stormy told her they would be sitting on the ground, so she wore shorts. But it, I felt like everybody else was giving like, dress, peaceful, flowy,
Mm-hmm.
um, dinner with the ladies, bohemian almost, and here come Tisha with her ripped up shorts.
Cause she from the other side of the tracks.
She let Miss Wanda dress her before she came
Oh,
to the party.
child.
So, but and then of course we had them all go around the table and say what what they heard,
Yeah, it was
what
like they
they
heard what they thought they heard or something.
they
Yeah.
meant, what the person meant, but what the person really meant or whatever. It looks like on the next episode it's not going well still. Like I said, between Destiny and Mel, Destiny and Tiffany, Destiny should have just stayed home. But it looks like her and Mel have a one-on-one. Hopefully they can come to cordialness. Because
Yeah.
I do believe that, while I don't believe that Destiny's good, I think Destiny is not really good for the show. I do believe that Destiny is hurt by the ending of her friendship with Mel. Because I don't think she honestly doesn't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Although Mel has told her, I mean, but at the same time, I feel like Mel has a way about her as well. Mel has an arrogance about her too
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't sit well with not just Destiny, it doesn't sit well with Tisha neither. And it's nothing wrong with it. I mean, you're supposed to be your number one cheerleader. So we'll see. I mean, other than that, ain't nothing really popped off at the table. I mean, again, the cousin could have stayed home. She looked angry. Was she like the bodyguard?
Demi, well, the fact that she even sat in between, like, I was like, why aren't you sitting next to your cousin? Like, out sitting in between Demi, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And then for me, because she wasn't invited, Demi, we never even heard, unless they edited it out. We never even heard Demi say, oh no, I apologize, Destiny. Why you ain't tell me that you didn't tell her that I was coming? Listen,
Right.
but something tells me that I think that Destiny knew what she was doing, and that if that she was trying to see if Stormy was going to be on some like, well, um sorry, because this is definitely was programmed for us to be together so that we in our circle could talk about certain things.
Right, because
So
what's Demi gonna burn? Like, what's she gonna say she heard and what some person meant? Like, you don't have no situation with any of the ladies, so you just gonna sit there and listen?
right. Yeah. So I just, yeah, it was all inappropriate and just for sure disrespectful. But anyway, we'll see. We ain't even going which one. We'll come back to that next week,
Oh,
y'all.
I
Yeah.
did want to mention.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
No,
I
you
did
good.
want to mention that I was happy to see Courtney talking more with the guys.
Oh
He
yeah.
did. He had his confessional or whatever you want to call it. Like,
Yeah.
um, I can tell he's probably still a little uncomfortable with doing it,
Yeah.
but I was happy to see him, more incorporated into the show. Like, because at first, for the longest, I was thinking like, Courtney don't want to do this. He's just saying, okay, Stormy, whatever I'm gonna go with, because he seems like he's a big advocate for whatever Stormy wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
So he probably said, I'll do it because you want to do it, but I'm not participating in this. But he really stepped it up, and I mean, I will give him both of them kudos. I give kudos to Marcel for mentoring him or saying that he would show him the ropes. But I also give Courtney kudos for calling Marcel out that, like, I don't think you like to work with women.
Yes, child.
Because I think he's like, I think that if you and your wife work better together, that y'all could really go some. I mean, not saying that they ain't going somewhere. They're successful couple, but Courtney was like, y'all can make 20 million. He was like, well, yeah, we made 20 million. He was like, well, then y'all can make 40 million. I just think that y'all are probably better together than apart. But then again, Marcel made, he knows his relationship. He knows
Yeah.
his wife.
Mm-hmm.
So Courtney, you might need to just leave that alone. But I was happy to see you with the guys and
Yeah.
more presence on the show.
Yes,
It's
for
good to
sure.
see. I noticed in the confessionals, I don't know if you noticed this, it seemed like a lot of their confessional looks were pink. Did you
Mm-hmm.
notice that?
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that's in support of the coming up. I mean, we kind of know at this point that Kimmi will in fact have breast cancer.
Right, yeah.
So I wonder if that was a salute to Kimmi. I just noticed a lot of pink confessional looks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, y'all.
wait, one more thing. Did
Okay.
did Courtney used to be a professional basketball player? Is
Child,
that
I don't
what?
know because that beer belly ain't giving get
I
ain't
was like, he got a.
that beer belly. No disrespect, Stormy. You know, you love it. You like it. I love it.
And
But yeah,
I
that
love
beer.
them together. But I
Yeah,
thought Stormy said he played basketball overseas or something. And I was like, his body type was not really giving basketball play.
his body type. Yeah, child. I don't know. It's given retirement maybe about 10 years ago, and he just been relaxing,
Like,
having him some
he just,
cores like Budweiser and Heinekens because he's
he
definitely
said, let me
giving
just
beer
go
belly.
ahead on in here and support my wife
Yep.
and eat me some food.
Give me let me enjoy my estate while I walk around my estate with a Heineken. Yes, or fatherhood, because sometimes like that's what happened to Tony. Tony gained like all the weight, and I only gained like 15 pounds. But Tony got like really fat during our my pregnancy. Like he just was yeah. So sometimes that happens. So, but anyway, y'all let us know in the comment section what y'all thoughts are from last week's episode and this week's episode. We thank you so much for tuning in, and we will let y'all go until next time. Peace, 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 peace.